The phone buzzed late at night, breaking the quiet of the garage where Caleb Marsh was finishing up his woodworking. On the screen was a voicemail notification from his wife, Naomi. Expecting a routine reminder, Caleb pressed play, only to hear her breathless voice confessing to an intimate encounter in a back storage room with another man. Before he could process the betrayal, the message was abruptly deleted. Years of precision work as a contractor had taught Caleb how to read blueprints, measure twice, and cut once, but nothing had prepared him for the sudden collapse of his 5-year marriage. Moments later, Naomi appeared in the workshop doorway, acting completely normal. Caleb played along, masking his shock, while she casually returned to bed. Alone once more, Caleb dove into their shared cloud accounts to investigate. Buried within an innocent-looking folder, he uncovered screenshots of intimate conversations, explicit photos, and a secret playlist shared with a man named Mason. Driven by a contractor's meticulous mindset, Caleb systematically downloaded every piece of evidence to an encrypted drive. The next morning, after casually kissing Naomi goodbye as she headed off to her boutique fitness class, Caleb followed her. He watched from across the street as she met up with her close group of friends, Tasha, Ivy, and Brenda, and openly flirted with Mason, who turned out to be a local barista. Determined to dig deeper, Caleb tracked the women to a sprawling suburban house and began analyzing their social media and digital footprints. Cloning Naomi's phone later that evening exposed a private group chat named Bear Babes. Reading through their messages revealed a disturbing reality. All 4 women were actively cheating on their husbands and using the group to coordinate alibis, cover stories, and logistics. They framed their infidelity not as a mistake, but as a form of self-empowerment. The betrayal was systematic, organized, and celebrated. Refusing to act impulsively, Caleb spent the next 2 weeks gathering concrete proof. He hired a private investigator, installed hidden audio recorders in her vehicle, and tracked GPS locations. The investigator confirmed that the group was running an organized affair ring, using shared resources and elaborate excuses like spa retreats and art classes to hide their secret getaways. Caleb spent dozens of hours editing the collected surveillance footage, text logs, hotel receipts, and audio files into a smooth visual presentation. He then invited all 4 couples to a weekend backyard barbecue under the guise of wanting to build a tighter local community. When the evening arrived and everyone was relaxed on the deck, Caleb set up his outdoor projector screen. What started as a casual presentation of local town photos quickly transformed into an unrelenting exposé of their secrets. Slide after slide revealed photos of each wife with her respective lover, complete with exact timestamps, detailed GPS records, and enlarged screenshots of their group chat. Chaos erupted as the husbands confronted their wives over the documented lies. Before the night ended, Caleb handed each betrayed husband a flash drive packed with court-ready evidence. In the days that followed, the fallout tore through the town. The contents of the group chat leaked locally, destroying the women's social standing and tanking their local ventures. Catherine Webb, a sharp divorce attorney hired by Caleb, used the overwhelming evidence to file on the grounds of adultery. During the legal proceedings, Naomi's attempts to claim emotional abuse or financial contribution crumbled when Catherine proved she had used joint marital funds to finance luxury hotel getaways with her lover. The judge ultimately awarded Caleb full ownership of the house, his business assets, and their savings, ordering Naomi to reimburse the misused funds. 3 weeks after the final decree was signed, a disheveled Naomi showed up on Caleb's porch, claiming she was pregnant and pleading for a second chance. When she insisted the baby was his, Caleb revealed that he had undergone a vasectomy months prior, completely exposing her final lie. Confronted with the absolute truth, Naomi broke down, realizing she was left with no money, no support, and no way to manipulate the situation. Caleb calmly told her to leave and never return, stepping back inside his house and closing the door on the past for good. In the quiet aftermath of the legal proceedings, Caleb focused entirely on rebuilding his life piece by piece, relying on the same steady discipline that made him a successful builder. The news of the barbecue confrontation continued to ripple through the close-knit neighborhood, forever altering the lives of everyone involved. Richard, David, and Marcus took their respective legal battles to court, using the very flash drives Caleb provided to secure swift divorces and protect their personal assets. The once glamorous clique dissolved completely, their shared secrets turning into mutual resentment as accountability finally caught up with them. For Naomi, the consequences extended far beyond the loss of her marriage and financial security. Without the lifestyle funded by Caleb and stripped of her reputation, her attempts to secure steady work fell short, forcing her to confront the grim reality of her choices without the safety net of her former life. Mason, finding himself entangled in a public scandal, quietly packed his belongings and vanished from town, leaving behind no forwarding address. Caleb watched the final pieces of his past settle into place without anger, knowing that while the betrayal had cut deep, his patient, calculated response had restored his independence and paved a clear path forward. Over the following months, the quiet strength that guided Caleb through the storm became the foundation of a completely renewed existence. The workshop that had once served as the staging ground for his quiet investigation returned to being a place of genuine creation and craftsmanship. He threw himself into his contracting work with renewed vigor, taking on ambitious custom-building projects throughout the region that allowed him to fully channel his focus and energy. The local community, having witnessed the unraveling of the scandal, began to view him with a deep, silent respect. Clients appreciated not only his meticulous eye for detail on the job site, but also the unflappable dignity with which he had conducted himself throughout the entire ordeal. Meanwhile, the ripples of the fallout continued to dismantle the elaborate web the four women had spun. Richard finalized his divorce within months, selling his home to start fresh in a neighboring state, entirely freed from years of quiet deceit. David repurposed his financial holdings, ensuring that none of his hard-earned wealth would ever support the lavish lifestyle Ivy had taken for granted. Marcus took a firm, quiet approach to his own separation, ensuring a clean break that left no room for lingering legal battles or drama. The unified front the women once boasted crumbled into bitter finger-pointing, as each attempted to shift the blame onto the others for encouraging their destructive choices. Naomi's life continued its downward spiral into obscurity. Deprived of the comfort, stability, and endless second chances Caleb had always provided, she bounced between short-term rentals and entry-level jobs, completely shunned by the social circles she had once worked so hard to cultivate. The local studio where she spent so much of her time saw a dramatic drop in attendance before quietly closing its doors, as the community rejected the toxic culture that had flourished beneath its surface. As the seasons shifted, the physical environment around Caleb mirrored his internal transformation. The house, once burdened by unspoken tension and hidden double lives, became a true sanctuary, filled with warmth, order, and honest work. He replaced the furniture, redesigned the interior spaces with high-end woodwork of his own design, and transformed the back deck into a peaceful retreat where he could reflect on how far he had come. Neighbors who passed by often noticed the calm aura surrounding the property, noting how the quiet contractor had dismantled a complex network of falsehoods without ever raising his voice or losing his moral composure. News from outside town occasionally reached him, confirming that the other husbands had moved on successfully, each carving out grounded, stable lives far removed from the toxic dynamics that had threatened to destroy them. The flash drives Caleb had distributed served as an enduring shield, neutralizing every attempt at court manipulation and allowing all three men to retain their dignity and hard-earned security. Naomi made no further attempts to reach out, fully understanding that her access to Caleb's life had been permanently severed by her own actions. Standing on the back deck he had built with his own hands, looking out over the quiet yard where the decisive barbecue had taken place, Caleb felt a profound sense of peace. The painful memories of the misdirected voicemail, the deceptive group chats, and the calculated lies had finally lost their sting, replaced by the solid reality of a life built on truth and self-reliance. He had measured the depth of the betrayal, made the necessary cuts, and constructed a future that was entirely his own.